Hello ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of revision on the White Tower before we move on to our discussion on function of the White Tower. Can you answer the following questions? We've got 5 questions, A to E, 5 answers, 1 to 5. I'll give you 2 minutes, so if you pause the presentation now. Okay, when we come back we'll go on to the next slide, which gives us the answers. So we've got, was it William controlled the port of Dover, which is answer 3. We know this because we discussed it in the Before Hastings booklet, where he secured route for reinforcements, route for supply, also a possible retreat channel if he needed one. London was captured in December 1066. We know that William was crowned on Christmas Day 1066. The castles on the west side of London were Baynard's Castle and Montfichet Castle. That is because during the Saxon period, the west was the most likely invasion route. If people came down from the north or they came from Wales, it was the most likely area that they had protected. Obviously in Norman times they'd come from the east, so they built the White Tower to protect the east of the city. The first type of castle to be built were Motte and Bailey castles. Remember, normally quite small, made out of wood originally, but there were over 5,000 built in England, so that was the Normans' main way of controlling the population, controlling the land, intimidating the population. And the last one, William built castles. It made it harder for people to invade. It also made it harder for people to rebel. Okay, moving on. What we're going to do in this little presentation is explain the function of the White Tower, what it was supposed to do, what it was used for, and how this changed. So while you read this slide, I would just like you to think about your own house. Your house, which is built as your family home, a residence for people to live in. And what we've found is, certainly over this current epidemic, my house, for instance, which is built for the same reason as yours, currently my virtual classroom, office, call it what you will, is our kitchen. My wife's is in the study and she's sprawled out and migrated into the dining room, and my son is working up in his bedroom. So we've had to change the operation of our house, what different rooms are used for at different times, and the White Tower was no different. So have a little think, write a few notes down about what you'd expect to find in a medieval home, especially a king's home. What would you expect to be in there? Next we have a picture, a cutaway drawing of the White Tower, and what I'd like you to do is 2 minutes to just answer that question. Does it look like someone lived there, and does it look fit for a king? So 2 minutes. Okay, moving on, a very quick little activity, 4 pictures, 4 descriptions. A garderobe, a banqueting hall, a chamber, and a chapel. What I'd like you to do, very, very quickly, just match up which one's which. Okay, just moving on. St John's Chapel is the number 1. The banqueting hall, the garderobe, which is a toilet, and the chamber. Chamber, just another word for a room. Right, we've got a function of the White Tower here. This is an outside view of the White Tower, and it shows the chapel. The apse is the bit at the far end of the chapel beyond the altar. In this case, it's semicircular, not all of them are, but it sticks out from the east side of the White Tower. What I would like you to do is just read this little bit. You can pause the presentation in a second and answer the question. Do you think it would have had a chapel if the castle was just used for military purposes? Now you can answer yes or no, but put a little bit of why you think so. Okay, so if you pause now. Right, so another bit of reading to do. And this is looking at the reasons why the castle was built with a chapel in it, with some posh chambers in it, with a toilet in it. Was it built that way for a reason? Why did William do it? And it gives us 2 reasons on here. So if you can just read through these, if I move the slide on, and you want to go back to this slide, please feel free to. So we're going to look at the function of the White Tower. We've got two buildings, the White Tower and Westminster Hall, Palace of Westminster, built by William Rufus, really. Which one do you think the king would have preferred to live in? And we've got two things to look for. One, which would be nicest to live in, and one, which would be best if you were attacked. Once again, on the next slide, give yourself a few minutes, just pause the presentation, and you can move on and answer those two questions. Okay, this one you can do on your sheet, or you can do it as on your version of this presentation. In green, any information that suggests that the White Tower was used as a residence. In orange, any suggests that it wasn't a residence all of the time, and any other reasons you put in blue. So we've got just used as a residence in green, other reasons in blue, and the fact that it was used as a residence but it also had other functions if you put that in orange. That gives you an idea of the sort of changing function. I will let you do that in your own time, and we will move on to the next slide. Two questions we need to get our heads around. I think the White Tower had a function as a residence. The evidence I have for this is, so you write in there a little paragraph telling me why you think it was used as a residence. The next paragraph, I think the White Tower did have a function as a residence, but that wasn't its main function, or it may not have been its main function. The evidence you have for that, you put into another paragraph. Okay, use the same sort of thing, make your point, use your evidence, a little explanation about why the evidence shows this. If it wasn't used as a residence, why would they have a big chamber for the king to sleep in and carry out his duties in? Why would they put a chapel in there if it wasn't used as a residence some of the time? Was that chapel the main church in Britain? No. Was it the main church in London? No. Okay, so you have your best. I hope this has been helpful. Any criticism will be gratefully received. Okay, thanks very much.